sub for 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I was the morning meeting leader on Wednesday. We also played lots of educational games.
It was a crazy week. We had 3 subs because Mr. Carter was out, sadly. We learned decimals and math with money and fractions. We had Scholastic News on Tuesday. We had a book buddies. I read with my book buddy, Don't Let the Penguins Stay Up Late. And that was a crazy week.
This week we learned about decimals and math using money and fractions. We also played around the world in math. In art, we finished a watercolor painting. Have a great weekend.
This week we had a substitute and she let us play games and we had book buddies. Have a great weekend.
This week we did decimals. Also, we had a sub for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. On Tuesday, we went to book buddies. Have a nice weekend.
This Friday we learned about decimals. We also had a sub for 3 days, and the sub played educational games with us. We had art this week. We also had book buddies.
This week we did decimals and math. In writing, most of us finished our realistic fiction stories. This week in art, most of us also finished our watercolor paintings. We also had book buddies. Mr. Carter was out, so we had a sub. Bye.
This week we learned tenths and learned decimals, and we had Mr. P. Yes, the sub.
This week was an awesome week. Even though Mr. Carter was getting surgery, the sub was very nice. And we played a ton of math games like 15 and Sparkle. And I finished my realistic fiction story. Have a nice weekend.
This week in math we learned about decimals. Also we had 2 different substitutes. Also we worked on our realistic fiction stories. Have a nice weekend.
This week we had 2 subs. We played games like 15 Sparkle, and I almost won in Sparkle. I came second place, and we did book buddies.
This week we had 2 subs. One was Mrs. Widget, and the other was Mrs. Rapucci. We learned about fraction decimals in math, and we also finished up our realistic fiction. Today we're going to celebrate them. And today we won't be having homework-opoly because Mr. Carter has to go to a last-minute doctor's appointment.
Been here for 3 days.
That's it?
Yep.
Who filled in for him?
Substitute teacher.
Did you do different things with the sub?
Yes.
Like what?
Can't remember.
This week we had a substitute. And also yesterday I finally finished my realistic fiction story. And in art we finished painting our flowers.
This week I finished my realistic fiction story. Yay! We also had book buddies.
We had 3 subs, and we played awesome games together. We played 7-Up and games like that. We finished our realistic fiction stories, and we're gonna celebrate!
This week we had a substitute, and we finished our realistic fiction stories and had a Scholastic News.
What was the Scholastic News about?
I don't know.
This week we had a sub for 3 days. While we had the sub, we did book buddies, Scholastic News. We also played math games, and we are going to have Christmas music to bring in the new holiday. We did Scholastic News, and we had book buddies, and we sung Christmas songs and music.